Hello and welcome to AMS Racing, and today we're back in AMS2 having a look at the latest update, which is the biggie, the humongous version 1.4 update. But before we get to that, I better just fill in the blanks from the last video I did was 1.3.8.1. There's been a couple of small updates since then which I haven't previously covered, so here we go. This is the version 1.3.8.2 changelog. Content: added Buenos Aires alternative layout 6 with the toboggan chicane general. Fixed championship editor allowing too many opponents. Fixed ABS driving aid not working in vehicles without factory ABS. Physics, minor tyre tread refinements, BMW Pro Car, Copa Classic, Lancer Cup. Formula Ultimate Gen 2 minor aero adjustments, increased spring adjustment range and generally stiffened default to better optimise under tray aero. Setup reset recommended. Revised ABS strength as a gameplay driving aid for cars that don't feature the system built in. Pro Car adjusted default roll bar, slightly softer front, stiffer rear. Group A slightly stiffer default front roll bar. Revised aero drop-off rates for all cars with significant downforce, reducing minor inconsistencies. AI further reduced high aggression AI lateral rate of movement for slightly less twitches. AI calibration pass for Copa Classic, Formula Ultimate Gen 2. Reduced all centre of gravity multipliers to attempt to minimise chances of cars rolling over sausage curbs. Brands Hatch Grand Prix, further AI performance adjustments. Buenos Aires adjusted AI line and performance at 10, 4, 5, 6, 7 of layout 6. Audio fix missing Azure tunnel and bridge reflections. Tracks: Buenos Aires adjusted razor curves on selected runoff areas. Curve on 8 Viborita and Cajun. Cajun. Yeah. English. Added missing winter trees for number 12. Cordoba added a new race control. Second garage building adjusted seasonal foliage. Tweaked clouds. Road lines, few small tweaks to curb heights for TC layout selection. Added tents, vehicles and other details around the track. Added animated marshals. Added night lighting. Vehicles Formula Ultimate Gen 2. Added cockpit vibration effect on the front fender. Winglets. Revised collision. Version 1.3.8.3. General. I'll try that a little bit deeper, shall I? General. Fixed championships editor not respecting max opponents and max rounds in some cases. Fixed crash trying to start Stock Car Pro 2022 championship. Revised livery name alterations for Porsche Cup and VW TSI Cup, adding more distinctions to help prevent duplicate liveries with custom AI files. Physics, fully revised Lancer Cup, TSI Cup, Opala 79, Copa Fusca, Copa Uno Physics. Further tyre tread revisions to Formula Trainer, both Formula V, Formula 3, Formula Vintage, both Formula Retro Gen 3, Formula Classic, all gens, Formula V12, Formula V10, both gens, Formula Racer, Formula Ultimate, both gens, GTE, GT3, Group C. I was getting too many GTs there. BMW Pro Car, Ginetta G40, both. P1, vintage touring cars. FFB Max Force and smoothing adjustments for Formula V, Formula Trainer, Lancer Cup, Opala 1979, Opala 86, Sprint Race, Copa Fusca, Copa Uno, VW Polo and VW Virtus. Ginetta G40, both slightly adjusted cog height, front end aero. Further revisions to tyre tread of all radial slicks and wet compounds. Stop doing that when running on a wet surface. Revisions in progress to be completed by version 1.4. We'll find out in a minute. Formula Ultimate, both gens, adjusted ERS mapping for Silverstone, AI, minor adjustments to AI racing behaviour, reduced range at which AI car ahead will try defend from car behind. Increased range, AI behind will try pass car ahead. Slightly reduced speed differential needed to attempt overtake. Slightly decreased avoid ratio and max aggression. Minor increase of care factor against human. Minor decrease of lateral range while defending. Slightly increased AI hot lap pace. Push for practice quali. Added Porsche Cup, GT4, GT5, G40 Cup. Custom AI driver names and AI entries for the 5 new DPI liveries. AI calibration pass for Copa Fusca, Copa Uno, Apollo 79, Lancer Cup, Formula 3, TSI Cup, adjusted AI group for Spielberg, both layouts. Audio, Formula Racer, increased DRS beep volume increase. Okay. Added and adjusted several sound effects for trackside objects, helicopter, 747 jet and turbo prop animation sound effects. Tracks added real weather data for Buenos Aires, Cordoba and Termas Rio Hondo. Buenos Aires added a VR trackside cameras, Cordoba static object load corrections, Termas Rio Hondo additional static object crowds and marshals. Change default race dates to May the 29th, 2022. No idea what it was before. Minor adjustment of grass friction coefficient. Vehicles corrected driver gear shift animation of Lancer RS, Caterham Superlight and Supersport to match the actual car gearbox, sequential or H shifter. Reduced frequency of exhaust backfires in vehicles in which that is not common. And when I just scroll down enough to get my thing here to show me the top of the page so I can actually press that. Oh, yeah, that one. My tabs weren't showing. Come on. Right. Stay. I need some lubrication of my throat. Only trouble with the round wheel, I'm much more likely to catch my coffee cup on it and cover poor old Tails here with coffee. Tails being Sonic and Sonic 2. Yeah, not exactly a new t-shirt, but whatever. Right, now, on to the big stuff. Version 1.4 now. Version 1.4 should have included Racing USA Part 3. It isn't fully in because there's been some weird stuff going on with sort of the newer IndyCar. Now, there's all sorts of weird speculation about what's going on with that, including that Motorsport Games have lost the license for IndyCar because of the shit show that was the NASCAR Ignition. So who knows, but whatever, something will happen further down the line and it will be completed, but there are all sort of various things in the offing, so there's no modern IndyCar yet, but I will say it was in the beta for a while and it was bloody good, so hopefully when it does arrive it'll be really nice. I'll get on to advanced mechanical damage modelling later. Right, version 1.3.8.3 to version 1.4.0.0. Right. Deep breath, I'm going to need it. Don't fall asleep out there. Cars. Added Formula USA Gen 1 to 3 short oval, speedway and super speedway configurations, which is part of Racing USA Part 2. Basically, when you go onto an oval, it'll pick the right oval setup. If you go on a speedway, super speedway, it'll pick the correct thing for that. And if you're on a road course, so it knows what you're on and what the rough base setup should be. Which is always useful, because the last thing you want to do is try and work out how to stick weight jackers in and do all this other shit. Added Ginetta G55 GT3 to the GT3 Open class. The other car in that is the other thing that looks like a GT3 car but isn't, and I've forgotten what it's called. If I remember, I'll check. Sorry. It's what was it? My brain might catch up before I get there, but you never know. It's that thing, the ultimate race. That was the word. Ah, memory. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Add a Mini Cooper 1965 to the Copa Classic B class. So that's the original Mini Cooper. I think it's on slicks, so it might have a little bit more get up and go around the bends. Added a Vulkan truck to the Copa truck class. That's a sort of made up job. Added Mercedes AMG GT4 to the GT4 class. Tracks. Added Worldwide Technology Raceway, or WWT as it's called. And its full title is Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Speedway and road course configurations, part of Racing USA Part 3, available as free trial for the coming weeks till they sort out Part 3. Added Autoclub Speedway, which is Fontana. Speedway and road course, part of Racing USA Part 3, available as free trial for the upcoming weeks. Added Daytona Tri-Oval layout, part of Racing USA Part 1. Slightly perversely. General. Added support for full course yellow. I haven't actually tried doing anything to get that to work, but apparently it does work reasonably well, so maybe I can make enough of a cock up later to be able to force it, who knows. Basically you can't have oval racing without full course yellow because it's such a clusterfuck when a whole bunch of cars doing 240 miles an hour crash into each other. Added support for cars to use different aero packages depending on track. See above where I was talking about oval and speedway, super speedway, etc. Fixed bug allowing player livery to be selected by AI in championships. Added lowdown force aero packages for Formula V12, Formula V10 Gen 1, Formula V10 Gen 2 classes. Affects physics and default setup for both player and AI. Live track developments. Added support for custom min-max grip ranges per track to account for tarmac quality, dirtiness, maintenance and other such variables from track to track. Adjusted baseline minimal grip and range, generally lower minimum grip, higher peak, slightly slower build-up. Offline isn't as globally poor grip as it was before. Adjusted live track presets for better scaling and set light rubber as baseline starting point instead of green in default progressing configuration. Fixed potential freeze when a new participant joins a multiplayer session while session is already in progress. Added some mitigation to help reduce extreme wheel movement of remote clients in multiplayer. Not quite sure what it is, whether that's where the wheels are sort of flicking around and looking a bit bizarre when you're sort of driving along, so it looks like everybody's using a keyboard rather than a wheel or a analog controller, I don't know. UI and HUD. Extended opponent setting to allow users to set the number of AI vehicles per class in single player. Opponent aggression setting now uses 5 predefined levels rather than the 0 to 500, 0 to 100% slider. Enabled seat mirror adjustment for non-VR users, access to our in-game cockpit configuration options. Updated various vehicle specifications to recent revisions and added specs for new cars and associated aero packages. Fixed livery limit warning not displaying on opponent settings screen. Prevented livery name from expanding beyond container bounds on livery selection screen. Revised vehicle information according to the latest physics adjustments. Physics. Fully revised physics for Caterhams, Art Camaro, GT Classics, Vintage TCs and street cars. Revised tyre thermodynamics covering idle temperature ranges, heating and cooling rates, and fallout rates when outside operating window. Basically, what that means is, I think if I remember rightly, there's slightly less grip when it's really cold, but the window where your tyres work is a bit wider, and the drop off at the end is much less when you're getting much too hot tyres, so you sort of come in a bit quicker, and they have a better window where they stay sort of working well, and you really do have to cook them a lot to get them to be falling off now, which is good because that's how tyres really do work, in my opinion. Added quality soft, medium, hard compounds to Formula Classics. Medium and hard compound records for Formula Rita. Hard compounds for Formula V12 and Formula V10, both gens. Added a bespoke wet compound records for Formula Classic, Formula V10, Formula Rita, Formula USA, Formula 3, Proto 2 to 4. GT4, GT5 Sprint Race. Added bespoke intermediate records for Formula Ultimate, both gens. Further development to Formula V vintages, Copa Fusca, Copa Uno, Apollo 79 old stock TSI Cup and Street cars. Revised various existing compounds for GTE, GT1, Formula Ultimate, both gens. Super V8, Stock Car 2019, revised wet and intermediate compounds. Whip. Extensive engine revisions, torque and compression curves, inertia, turbo models, fuel consumption, heating, cooling rates and associated wear. 2. Deep breath. GTE, GT3, GT4, GT1, all. Porsche Cup, Formula Classic Gen 3, all. Cadillac DPI, Sprint Race, P1 to P4 prototypes, Art Camaro, Stock Car 2019 to 2022. Group C, Vintage Touring Cars, Formula USA, all. Mini JCW, Corvette C3, TSI Cup, Ginetta G40 GT5 and G40 Cup, Copa Classics, Hot Cars, Copa Uno and Copa Fusca. Fixed bug leading to extreme engine cooling. Revised clutch LSD models for Formula Vintages, both gens, Formula Retro, all gens. Cadillac DPI, P1, P2, P3, P4, MRX. BMW 2002 Turbo. Formula V10, both gens. Formula V12, Formula Ultimate, both gens. Corvette C, Caterham Supersport. I suppose there was meant to be a Corvette C something in there. Superlight 620R, so everything apart from the Caterham Academy there. Formula Classic Gen 1 to 3, Formula USA Gen 1 to 3, Stock Car 2019 and 2022, Copa Montana Ultimate GTR Race. Hello, I know who you are now. And revised default setups to suit setup reset recommended. Basically, I'd say just get rid of all your old setups, because most of them won't be right now. Change radiator and brake duct ranges to 5% increments for cars that have it adjustable. Added throttle maps for cars that were still missing it, which is BMW 2002, F301 and 309, Caterham Superlight and Supersport, Formula Classic Gen 2 M1 and 2, Gen 3 M3, Formula V10 Gen 2, GTE, GT3, GT4 BOP revision complete, including various adjustments to turbo downscaling depending on environment pressure, so turbo cars no longer have a substantial advantage on tracks at higher altitude, which means basically good news, hopefully. Copa truck now features more detailed modelling of each truck's engine with performance differences. Adjusted cog height for Formula Trainers Ginetta G40 S2 or Ginetta G40s 2, not sure. Various full tank size corrections and corrections to discrepancies between fuel tank pit stop ranges, corrected tank ranges that didn't affect the initial minimal 1 litre in tank, adjusted centre of fuel tank height for various cars to rectify minor inconsistencies, added custom draft production scale per car accounting for variations in drag and dimensions, slightly increased lift and drag increment per radiator and brake duct setting for cars that still have that especially low, disabling lingering redundant one step setup ranges that made options appear adjustable in setup screen even though they weren't. Further adjustments to FFB max force in various cars. Fixed diff ramp angles in GT GT3. The current defaults disabled redundant range in McLaren 570 and Ginetta G55 because they ain't adjustable. Further adjustments to slick behaviour on wet track. Ginetta G40 Cup corrected mass 925 kilos with driver. Reduced rate of artificial pre-race tyre heating without formation lap. Minor moment of inertia corrections for stock Omega Opala models. Lancer Cup, both models. GTE, GT3, GT4, GT1 street cars. Ultimate GTR race. I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Yeah. Hopefully that didn't blow your heads off. Only mine. Revised specifications to suit the new GT Open class it now belongs to, with adjustments, adjusted tyre dimensions and weight, disabled onboard adjustable arm. Mercedes AMG GT3, minor adjustments to default setup, slightly lower rear slow rebound. Increased diff preload to 110 Nm. Adjusted fuel tank positions for Porsche RSR, Corvette C3R, Formula Classic Gen 2 M3, added boost function, going to full boost pressure, setting 100%, temporarily while boost button is held. Slight adjustment to turbo efficiency, adjusted boost map for improved drivability. Formula Ultimate Gen 2 adjusted mass 798 kilograms as per latest regulation update. F3 fixed syntax error causing its tyres to use the wrong components as of version 1.3.8.3. Formula Ultimate both gens reduced front and rear wing drag to lift efficiency. AI cars can use more than one tyre compound. Added custom AI driver names and personalities for vintage touring cars 1 and 2. Copa Classic B and FL. GT Classics, Hot Cars, Opal Stock, Formula V, Copa Uno, Copa Fusca and Lancer Cup. Further adjustments to AI movement when pulling out from behind another car to overtake. Revised AI performance for Adelaide Modern. Generally raised AI overtaking parameters and reduced gaps between minimum and max aggression for AI rates. Disabled a function that was added to prevent AI from cutting corners but was actually making the issue worse. AI calibration pass for all cars. Adjusted AI performance for Nürburgring Nordscliffe layouts. Adelaide. I believe that's and Adelaide. Adjusted performance levels for all classes with custom AI driver. Restored AI aggression for practice and qualifying when dealing with other AI cars. Slightly improved AI overtakes of slow/lapped cars. Added table of contents and subheadings for each class in AI driver list to facilitate editing by end users. Globally reduced rolling resistance for AI on most cars to compensate error in benchmarking AI straight line speed. Further per car fine tuning still pending. Added automatic radiator adjustment for Formula USA Gen 1 to 3, Oval variants only for now. Added a functional differential for all AI physics according to car spec to improve their ability to negotiate corners. Implemented AI mistakes for oval tracks, AI spins. Added AI personality parameter fuel management that works in oval tracks and is customizable by end user as explained here. I will put a link to these, and if I remember I'll put a link to the bit that's linked, if that makes sense. Audio. AI remote replay cars now have same drivetrain sounds and server sounds as player car. Grinding gears sound effect should now play continuously on 8 shifters instead of infinite restarting. Added ambient reverb for Buenos Aires and Galileo. Removed artificial reverb parameters for Adelaide, Imola, Interlagos and Montreal tracks. Adjusted Formula Classic V6 Turbo internal sounds, adjusted external volume. Increased volume of audio effect from running off the ideal racing line. Added crowd sounds, Autoclub only for now. Tracks, Interlagos restricted track cut limits at pit entrance. Vehicles, restricted available car liveries to a limit of 40 total for all classes in the game. Added actual driver helmet designs and outfits to Stock Car Pro Series 2019 to 2022. I'll get my brain in gear. Updated Formula USA driver helmet model. Puma P052. Added damaged stroke dangling parts. Fixed reverse lights. Wasn't working before. Adjusted light glow texture. Light UV map. Channel 5 and adjusted the material, revised collision. Caterham Supersport fixed the H pattern movement to reflect the correct gear sequence. Apollo 79 fixed the cockpit shift light. McLaren F1 GTR fixed windscreen issue. Ginetta G40 Cup stroke GT5 fixed gauge lights. Formula USA Gen 1 added magnesium wheels for cars that should have them. Fontana adjusted onboard cameras. Camaro GT4R updated position of look back camera so as rear wing doesn't obscure. Various onboard camera corrections for Copa Classic models and Copa Fusca. Updated Formula USA Gen 3 LCD steering wheel to include water temp in Fahrenheit. I'm buggered. Fixed inaccurate RPM bar calibrations of Formula USA Gen 1, Gen 2 cockpit displays. Fixed water temperature on Formula USA Gen 1 and Gen 2 displays to Fahrenheit. Added custom driver outfits and helmets to Stock Car 2019 plus new entries to 2020 to 2022. Updated driver outfits for stock car drivers that participate outside series that use the modern GT driver outfit. Updated liveries for Copa Uno and Copa Classics. Right, I don't know about anybody else, but I need a break, so I'm going to have a swig of my coffee. Please stand by for the resumption of the next part. That's better. Right, version 1.4.0.0 to version 1.4.1.0. I don't know how long this one is, if misses. Content. Added Spa-Francorchamps 2022 layout, part of the Spa-Francorchamps DLC. So basically that's, fuck it, we'll look at it later. Or I'll go over what all the additions are. General added new exhaust smoke type for diesel vehicles. If you go in the Copa trucks now, you should see a lot more black smoke rather than just the usual grey stuff. Added visible under tray sparks from bottoming for Formula Ultimate and Formula Classic all gens. Fixed green live track preset not being fully green and revised grip levels for other presets. Reduced FFB fade in timer from 5 to 3 seconds. UI and hard added official events page and menu entry. So now there's official events. We'll have a quick look. There's only one at the moment. Updated main menu art panels. Added a manual grid and full course yellow options to championship editor. Added single player gameplay option to enable disable random failures. Changed damage scale option to use predefined levels instead of percentages. Fixed ICM being unable to choose auto ERS mode. Altered vehicle stroke livery selection, showroom and lobby to display appropriate downforce variant for current circuit. Changed vehicle reliability based on mean time to failure directly. My eyesight started to go, I think. Disabled redundant turbo setting for showing in Copa Uno and Mini 1965 setup screen. Physics. Completely revised thermodynamics for all tyres. Added advanced mechanical damage modelling for Formula Vintage, both gens, Formula Retro, all gens, Formula Classic, all gens, Formula V12, Formula V10, both gens, Formula Racer, Formula Ultimate, both gens. Now, basically, what that means is things like your wheels can fall off, so whether you want to do it or not is entirely up to you, but you've been warned. Things will die. Updated traction control functionality for all cars that feature the device. fixed auto lift value, keeping throttle 100% during auto clutch shifts for Formula Vintage, all Formula Vetro, all G3 TE, all but, sorry, G3 TE, Formula V, and corrected various semi-automatics that were blipping to 100% in downshifts. Yeah, I was driving the Lotus 79 the other day, and it's when you go to change gear, it doesn't actually release the throttle, even though I had auto clutch on it. So hopefully that's cured that. Added new tyre model parameters to more accurate modelling of slick behaviour and performance in a wet surface. Adjusted FFB for Formula Classics, Formula V10 Gen 1, Formula V12 and Formula 3. FFB adjustments for Formula Ultimate Gen 2, Formula V10 Gen 2. Adjusted brake duct cooling rates for BMW M6 and M8, Camaro SS revised body inertia, McLaren 720S GT3 slightly raised front splitter height sensitivity, Arc Camaro adjusted cog height, Ginetta G55 GT3 further adjustments to aero balance and suspension, adjusted brake heating and cooling rates, Formula Ultimate Gen 2 fixed asymmetric front brake cooling rate, Sigma P1 fixed TC and ABS not being enabled, added LD variants, low drag, for Formula Classic Gen 3, Formula Rita, Formula Ultimate Gen 1, Ginetta G55 GT3 suspension geometry update and suspension ride height adjustments, GT1 corrected engine output of Porsche and McLaren F1 GTR, BMW M4 GT4 minor power multi and rear arm adjustment, reduced default steering lock, completed tyre revisions for street cars, Formula Vintage Gen 1 and 2, adjusted FFB max force and pneumatic trail on Formula Vintages, Super V8 stock cars and BMW M6, Corvette C3R reduced brake torque and heating, McLaren F1 reduced diffuser baseline downforce and adjusted centre of pressure. BMW M6 default setup refinements, Lancer Cup revised fuel consumption, engine heating and wear. AI prevented AI taking damage from small contacts in the wall or in other AIs, could lead to AIs coming to the pits too frequently. Fixed AI not pitting for engine repairs if they have an engine related failure. Improved the way the AI retires to off track due to terminal damage. Added initial extra compounds for AI on Formula Classic, Formula Rita and Formula Ultimate Gen 2, which is a work in progress. Formula 3 Copa Truck Group C AI calibration pass, Formula USA, all gens, added automatic radiator settings for AI for short oval and speedway variants, slightly increased AI draft scaling, revised Formula V10 Gen 1 and Formula Classic Gen 1 AI names and performance, revised AI paths and performance for Adelaide, Historic, Nürburgring, GP and Vidal layouts, and Hockenheim GP and national layouts, Spielberg. Prevented AI vehicles from speeding when they are trying to retire. Fixed some issues with AI behaviour during full course yellow. Implemented AI differentials. Improved AI response to overheating due to damage. Audio. Wall reflections increased in volume. Altered profile. Enable new high-speed pass-by wind whoosh sound. I don't know how accurate that whoosh from me was, but that's... we'll see. Decreased distant live play opponent sound attenuation max parameter, increased close distance parameter. Ginetta G55 GT4 and Super Cup adjusted on power volume for trackside and opponent view. Fusca Classic FL adjusted interior engine sound transition from idle to 3000 RPM. Adjusted engine samples mixing on idle to mid RPMs for Copa Fusca, Hot Cars, Fusca M1 and M2 and Puma GTE. Copa Truck adjusted car skid parameters, increased base pitch. Mercedes AMG GT4 increased interior engine volume, adjusted... Don't... Go away. Oh, stupid thing. Just flicked something up and I can't get rid of it. Where was I? Mercedes AMG GT4. Increased interior engine volume, adjusted mixing in low RPM band cockpit sound, adjusted trackside camera and opponent volume for BMW M8 and Corvette C8R, turned off Doppler on environment aerial animations, tracks, live track updates, added more visible rubbering effect, more prominent dirt build-up and cleaning off on track with car interaction. So basically you should be able to see where the track is rubbering in more easily now, hopefully, and also where there's some dirt been thrown onto the circuit. You should be able to see it before you drive through it and screw your tyres up. Added custom LT grip ranges for Adelaide Historic, Bathurst, Brands Hatch, Buenos Aires, Cordoba, Daytona, Donington, Fontana, Gallio, Granja, Albera, Interlagos, Historic Interlagos Kart, Jacarepagua Oval, Kansai, Londrina Kart, Long Beach, Montreal, Monza Nürburgring, Ortana, Alton Park, Road America, Silverstone, Spa 93, Speedland, Spielberg, Nürburgring fixed floating flags in test day session for Nord's 24-hour layout. Road America adjusted curve physics for improved FFB feeling, a lot of adjustments. Bathurst fixed a hole in the CSM wall, T1 exit on left. Vehicles, all cars corrected Fresnel power and adjusted liveries to suit. Corvette C3 RC fixed trunk UV mapping issue. Corrected cockpit mirrors position for Porsche RSR 1974, McLaren 720S GT3, BMW M6 GT3, Puma GTB, corrected oil pressure gauge, 5 liveries revised, Puma GTE, 5 liveries revised, onboard camera adjustments for Corvette C3, Copa Fusca, Copa Uno, Rocco 001, Lotus 23, Mini Cooper S 1965, Metal Moro MRX, Camaro GT4, McLaren 570S, Mercedes AMG GT4, Ginetta G55 GT4, Porsche Cayman GT4, McLaren 720S GT3, Mercedes AMG GT3, BMW M6 GT3, Porsche 911 GT3R, Copa Classic, further livery revisions, Vulkan Copa truck, added dirt stroke damage texture, Metal Moro AJR, all models adjusted the driver animation head tilt. I think my head's tilting a bit here. Adjusted suspension animation to rectify issue with wheels appearing to have positive camber on the Formula Vectro V12 Gen 1 Formula Trainer, both. Formula V12, Formula V10 Gen 2. Mini Cooper S 1965, fixed speedometer being set as miles per hour instead of kilometre per hour. Okay. Stock car Corolla 2022 fixed steering wheel LOD issue. Formula USA Gen 1 to 3 added custom helmets. Ultimate GTR race fixed a LOD issue that was causing graphical artifacts. Revised collision mesh parameters, adjusted rim textures to work better with LOD C. Redone the LOD C rims, adjusted LOD D, added damage to LOD D. Corvette, I think LOD D's the least detailed one. Might be wrong on that. I think that's LOD D. Is that just not LOD D? I think LOD D is the limit. Cool. I'm rambling again. Corvette C3 corrected engine heat and blown smoke emission point. Apollo 79, Apollo 86 changed the driver type to use 80s helmet style. Oh my god, I finished. Now, there is also a dev update that's come out for August, which I can't remember if I mentioned last time or not. So I'll mention it now. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link to it and you can read it, because I can't remember what's in it, so there's no point in me waffling. Right, content wise, if you go in and have a look, I can't remember what the new content is. Copa Classics B, we've now got the little old mini, and that should be on slicks now. because it's in this. Truck wise, we now have the Vulkan, which is Rita Studios made up job, but you'll notice there's different power outputs for the different engines now. They're all fairly much of a muchness. I think the VW's got a little less than the rest, but drove them from the 1.3.8.3 build, and actually they weren't too bad the other day. We did have a race in them. Several people abstained, let's say, because they couldn't manage it, but it wasn't too bad. Certainly better than the first time I tried. Couldn't use them with the wheel at all. They were fine with the gamepad, but not with a wheel, which is really bizarre. Couldn't quite get my head around that. What else have we got? All of these now depend upon which circuit you choose. If I choose that, at the moment I can't remember what circuit we got. So that comes out with a sort of normal set of wings on it. I think if you select an oval, and we'll try and find the first oval, which will be Daytona. If I select that, the picture changes as well because it's got little wings, little winglets instead of big wings. So you can see from the picture straight away that's gone into a different mode, and hopefully it's right for all of them. I haven't checked, but you can run super speedway. It'll run in super speedway setting. If you run on a shorter oval, it'll run an oval setup, and if you run on road course, it'll run a road course setup. Now the short oval and the road course I think look the same more or less, but the setup will be much different. It'll all be set to sort of lay the car on its side of it, and instead of having probably all the camber like that, the camera will be like this, so it's sort of like leaning into the corner all the time, which does mean you end up with a lot of effort to drive it in a straight line down the straights, which is actually quite interesting. Were there any other new? I can't remember what else was new. Was there any else? I don't think there was any other new bits. Were there any other? The G55 GT3, which is not in the official GT3 class because it was never internationally raced. It was only ever really in the British Championship, so they never raced them. Their GT3s are based on what was used or is used in Brazil, I believe. So these aren't. So they put them in the open class along with the slightly altered version of the GTR race. They've hopefully managed to bottom, so they're fairly close. They're not a million miles out from the other GT3 class as well. What else was there? Can't think. I think that was it as far as content was concerned, wasn't it? Oh. Turn round. Oh. Yep, that's it as far as new cars go. It's a lot of scrolling. A lot of scrolling on a small screen. Oh yeah. Oh shit. Oh yeah, the Mercedes GT4. That was it. Oh no, there was something else. So now we have 6. Yeah, 6. That one. The one that's so bright you couldn't miss it. So yeah, that's been added. I haven't actually driven that yet. So we'll go and have a look. We'll select it. I don't know what liveries we've got available. Whoa, some interesting colours there. Just stick with orange. And as far as circuits are concerned, obviously Daytona Oval has been added. Again, that's sort of like the extra circuit from what was added in Racing USA Part 1. Fontana. always to be known as the erect penis circuit because, well, it looks like an erect penis. The original circuit was just the Speedway, which is like getting off for 3 miles long, so it's a very quick circuit. But they added all these infield things. If you look at Google Maps and have a look at this, there's like shitloads of infield bits and pieces. And there's actually 3 or 4 other layouts. So they have a motorcycle course which sort of goes in on itself and does all sorts of weird things at the sort of start around turn 1. Is that turn 1? Might be turn 1 and 2, knowing the way they count these things. Gateway, or WWT Raceway at Gateway. This is an interesting oval in that it's a shorter oval, so you'll find when you go in with a Indy car, it will actually put you in a oval configuration, not the super speedway configuration. So it's downforce is more akin to like a road course car. The 3 layouts: oval, the short infield course, which is the same as the one I covered for where was it? R Factor 2 the other week. Which is, like I said at the time, interesting that they've both got it around about the same time. Whether that's a coincidence, I don't know. This 3rd layout, the 2 mile sort of long road course, I'll be frank, I don't really like it, but I might drive around it just to show you how tight and horrible the first couple of corners are. So we might do that one first. In terms of other things, there is the new version of Francorchamps, which is the 2022 version, which looks remarkably similar to the 2020 version because, frankly, in tarmac terms, it is the same. It's only different in as much as most of the time it's about the runoffs. So we'll have a drive around it later. But we will, I think, we'll cover Gateway. Should we do Gateway first? Should we do Fontana? Yeah, I should probably just drive around the oval. I'll drive around the oval first, around that, so I'll go to something a little bit quicker than that. If I can scroll the right way to find something appropriate, we'll go for the latest Formula E. That'll do. Randomly pick a car. I don't know if we're on default date. That'll do. Like I said, I've got on heavy rubber. I'll put it on. I doubt very much you'll actually see anything from that because obviously the progression is going to be reasonably slow and you're going to need quite a few cars to actually get it to go from greenish to start with towards getting heavily rubbered in. So it is what it is, but I suspect it will be something that's a bit more obvious. Now, why am I here and what bloody button have I got assigned, if any? Oh, thank God for that. Just check, make sure my wheel rotation's about right. No idea what's going to happen here because, well, I haven't done a huge amount of testing in the last 3 weeks because I've been running around like a blue-ass fly because my mother decided to faint in the kitchen and crack a couple of fucking vertebrae in the back. So, week and a half in hospital, week and a half with me chasing around her, make sure she's alright while she's here. Meant not a lot of time to test shit, so that's my excuse. I'm sticking with it. Gear change sounds a bit strange, but you find 5th and 6th are very close together, not surprisingly. No idea how fast this car's going to go in a straight line, but Daytona is a little bit bumpy. It's probably yeah, a bit lumpy around this end especially, so you might see it bouncing about a bit. But a lot of people go, oh, there's no skill involved in doing this, you just turn left all the time. The skill is in racing with other people, not driving necessarily just around the circuit. So I'll just do a couple of laps around here. You can see it looks quite reasonable. If a little bit jerky at the moment, I think that's because I'm recording. So what we're going to hit at 240 down the back straight. I'm going to put a little bit of right hand side on whilst I'm going down the straight to keep it in a straight line. I can't remember which car I ran the other day just to test out round Fontana, and I was hitting just under 250 miles an hour around there, so it's a little bit slower in this particular car, around this particular track at 37 seconds. You spend a lot of time going, I'm going to turn left. Just don't turn your GPS on, whatever you do, it'll just drive that wall going. Turn left. Turn left. But yeah, we've been around Daytona and most of the Oval when we previously looked at it as a road course, but it is very nice. It's nicely modelled, and I think it is actually based on the Project Cars version anyway, so see if I can press the right button to no, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. Where's me bloody button to get out of it? Let's press that instead. Bollocks to it. No, not that one. Oh, God blimey. Why didn't that work? I thought it was that one. Oh, that's better. Now, if I exit that. Right, obviously Daytona, we've been there, done that. We will have a quick look at Gateway, and I'll do a little drive around Gateway, firstly in this car, and then we'll do Fontana first, see if there's any difference in top speed. I will drive around reasonably slowly to start with, just to see what it looks like. Like I said, you can't not look at that bloody track map and go, it's a penis. You just can't do it, can you? It's a slightly misshaped penis, but it's a penis. Right, let's have a slow tilt round. I think in race mode there's a few more people in the stands. I'm not sure there's anybody in the stands up there, but it is, again, up to their usual standard in terms of modelling, so very nice. Obviously there's a bit more to see on the infield, although it's a bit nondescript in some ways, the infield. It's all just a bit of tarmac here and a bit of tarmac there. You can see by the huge amount of tarmac over there. But they're possibly not the most aesthetically pleasing places, these big speedways, because they're just a bloody great lump of tarmac with a bit of a banking on it. This is slightly less steep, I think, than Daytona. I can't remember the track length of Daytona compared with Fontana, but is it a longer course? I think it's just 2.5 miles, so it's very fast, as are all the big super speedways, or speedways. You see loads of stuff over there that you can get the hell out of the way should you have an accident. nice and wide, so you probably go 3 wide without too many problems. Obviously that lane there is I'm slowing down to go into the pits lane on the left there, because you will find you have to slow down quite a bit to get in. But we'll just cruise around one lap. Like I said, there's not a huge amount to see around the big oval. There's a bit more to see on the infield. We'll go have a look at that in a minute. But it's always a bit dodgy getting into the pit lane and remembering to slow down enough. But a little bit loose. Tyres might be a little bit chilly to start with, so it was getting a bit sideways there. I don't know if they've changed the setup, or it's just this is a bit looser than whatever I drove the other day, because it doesn't feel as planted at the moment. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit looser than it is around Daytona due to the slightly less banking. I feel the back end trying to gently rotate as it comes around the corner there. So of course, it's probably a green track, which doesn't help. I think because I ran it heavily rubbered the other day, it was possibly giving a lot more grip. So again, it's how fast it can go depends on conditions. So what we're doing, 32-second lap. So I can't remember what I did the other day. I think it was about a 30-second lap. So definitely a little bit green. Obviously you'd get a build up of rubber here as you do more laps, but that'll do as a very quick couple of laps there. And again, I'm pressing the wrong bloody button, so turn the pit box, press the right button, hooray, and get out, and yeah. Now we'll try a different car and just go around the infield. This is going to be a very long video. I might end up cutting it a bit, but I'm not going to spend any amount of time on the different. We might actually just run, yeah, because now we're on a road course configuration here, which will be interesting to see how it goes around the whole thing. I won't change car. I will stick with this. Come to think of it, what the hell? So now it's gone road course configuration. Means I'll only do maybe 200 miles an hour down the straights. But we'll have and also the right. Trying to remember where the circuit goes because I'm bugging if I can. I think it's a sort of a horrible 90-degree left, right, and the back straight, isn't it? Is it? Why am I asking you? You don't bloody know. I did change the did I? Yeah, I did. I'm sure I did. Yeah, look, there's some weird shit up here that you've got to try and work out where you're going. So it's around the outside of those tyres, and then in here. A nice hairpin. Then it's up the shaft, around the glands, around the head, and it's quite tight around the head. Tightens up on the exit, and then You have to rely on the cones a lot. And I can't remember which way it goes at the end of the shaft again. And some slightly weird looking balls around the end here, so slightly weird bit there at the end of the course, but I have to say that's an interesting layout, to put it bluntly. But yeah. So I haven't actually tried it in anything particularly fast around here, so I've got no idea what's going to happen here. I'm probably going to fuck it up completely, but again we are on a green track, or fairly green track, so grip is a tad limited, shall we say. That's definitely a bit strange the way you just get a load of tyres there to guide you in, so an interesting layout. I'm not sure it's going to be anything that I'm particularly going to be going out of my way to drive around. It's not the worst infield in the world. The next one we look at might actually qualify as one of the worst. Gateway. Now, Gateway was a circuit that was. There was a circuit there for ages, back in the 50s, was it? Basically, it started off as like a drag strip built, and they built a circuit around it. And if you go onto racingcircuits.info, I'll try and remember to put a link. The original circuit was a really nice looking circuit, and then somebody decided they wanted to attract the sort of IndyCar and NASCAR. I think it was originally NASCAR. Yeah, it was NASCAR, wasn't it? Get the sort of influx of people for that and the money from that. And they went, right, we're going to build a circuit, and yeah, they built it over the top of what looked like a really nice circuit, and this is one of the layouts. I have to say, again, it's all really nicely modelled, but I have to say, as a circuit, it is a bit, oh my god, quite tight. This is turn 2 effectively, and then it sort of goes back on itself here, and a bit tight, no, not tight, and then sort of disappears up its own arsehole as it then goes around this other tight turn to get onto the banking, and then round the banking onto the back straight, and another one like Fontana where you've got this sort of like transition into the infield, and this bit's not so bad. Watch out for the curbs, they are lethal. Also, I'm not really sure where the track limit is on the outside there, so it's the sort of thing that would really suit something small and slow for the sort of really tight section, but then you got this bit which is like flat out blast, and oh shit, I've missed the fucking turn, have I? Turn 1's a bit difficult to spot, to put it bluntly. It's sort of aim for the end of the pit wall and hope you hit it type of thing.
So yeah, I have to say,
Nah. As circuits go, yeah, I think this has been one that ain't used a lot, and if it is used, it's such a weird combination. Sort of really fast around the bank sections, and then ridiculously tight around those bits, and it's like, it's just... And then this bit flows quite nicely, so the shorter 1.6 mile infield is not too bad, but this 2 mile, the extra bit they've added to get up to 2 miles isn't worth it, in my frank opinion. And then you're asking, who the fuck is Frank? Yeah, I don't know. Right, let's see if we can actually hit turn 1 this time. Oh, well, we can hit the wall. Why not? Right, so basically aim for the end of the wall. As you can see, in something like this, it's a bit of a mental job. Maybe a slower GT car might be good around here. This particular corner is a bit of an arse because it tightens up on itself. But again, on the sort of slightly shorter version of the infield circuit, that's not too bad at all because it's still got a reasonable flow. It's just an interesting, like, decreasing radius exit to the corner. So. Yeah, definitely not too sure about that, but in terms of the oval, we'll just quickly come out and then go into the oval and have a quick couple of laps around it, because this video is getting stupidly long. There are, of course, other ovals in the game. I have a list here. One other weird thing about the Gateway circuit, it's actually officially it's in... Oh, I've crashed. Right, well, a couple of crashes later, and I've gone... there's obviously something about that particular car track combo it doesn't like, so we'll try a different bloody car, and hopefully this one will work. And if it doesn't, end of it. Well, end of this bit anyway. I'll think of something else to do. Excuse me. Right, I was about to say something about the state, because I'm just bugging off downstairs for 20 minutes and come back up again. Hey, it's loaded. Yeah, the Worldwide Technology Gateway is actually officially Madison in Illinois. Isn't Madison also the name of the capital of Wisconsin? But whatever. Madison, which is a suburb of St. Louis, but St. Louis is officially in Missouri, because basically St. Louis straddles the Mississippi River and it's actually in both Missouri and Illinois, and Gateway's in the Illinois part of, so weird. Fontana is also slightly weird. It's in the middle of an industrial estate in Fontana in California, which is near LA, but we're not here for that. We're here for this. And of course Daytona's in Florida, right on the beach. Now let's see what happens as we drive around here. I've no idea. You can tell you're in a higher downforce configuration because you can actually see the end of the wing plate. So, alright. I've no idea how this car's going to fare around here. this is an oval, you actually have to slow down for the corners on a bit. And you have to slow down more at that end, or is it that end? I can't remember now. I think it's that end. No, it's this end. A little bit of understeer. I will say, feels quite nicely balanced around there. Don't know what sort of speeds we're getting to at the end of the straight. Forgot to change gear. Well, it feels pretty good around here. Like I said, I don't know what was the other one. It was just crashing, so. Again, we're still on a green track, so hopefully with a bit less green, it will give a load more grip and be a lot better. So yeah, it's I don't know whether shorter ovals are more likely to cause accidents or not, because of the very simple fact you're actually having to brake in a corner. So whereas the sort of the bigger super speedways, it's more about sort of following somebody and trying to just tap the back end of the car, whereas this is about I might have to brake a couple of times, at least once. Yeah, it's a nice little circuit, and the car feels quite nicely balanced around here, despite the fact there's relatively small amount of grip at the moment. So what else have we got? Yeah, there are other ovals you could play with. You could effectively use the Brasilia Outer as an oval, although it's how much confusion it would cause by the fact it's got a left turn in it, I don't know. I don't know whether that would work particularly well or not. Where else has got let me think. That's all right turns, so that would completely screw it up because everything's set up to go the other way. So you would have to set your car to be completely the other way to what you'd normally do for an oval. So that wouldn't necessarily work that well. Where else have we got? This has actually been used, and it is actually officially an oval. So whereas that's officially a circuit, so presumably that's the official, because that's officially an oval, that should actually come up with an oval setup, I assume. So the type of circuit will define which particular, because this should, oh, that's just oval. Maybe that's not quite right then. I did wonder whether the type being oval, whether to put Speedway in there or something, super speedway. So it's one of those, does that actually define it or not? Interesting to see what it actually comes up with in a way of a cell. We'll just go there, just for science, and see what it does. Should be able to tell reasonably easily. I can't remember whether or not this has actually got a lot of banking. I don't think it's more than a couple of degrees of banking, if any, or whether it's actually flat. So let's have a quick look and see. Short oval. So I actually said it with a short oval setup, so that'll be interesting. That's probably going to be a little bit of offset on the different caster, way more camber on the that side. So yeah, it's basically set up so it's staggered to be like this and leaning in leaning at the corner. Should be set on a much higher. Oh no, got the same ride height front. Rear ride height's different, front and ride height's the same. Interesting. Interesting. Let's just try a couple. I was just surprised it was a short oval because I don't know whether it would actually run out of gearing. So we will do a lap just to find out. Just in case you've never been around here, it's quite an interesting oval because it's got two reasonably tight corners and two much faster corners. I think I've been around here before in one of my videos and well, oh, that's interesting. And it's bumpy as fuck. Oh, it's also very, very, very slippery. Cold tyres and low grip, not a good combination. I don't think the offsets to allow for the banking are doing it a lot of favours around here, really. I can actually feel it trying to turn in on the brakes slightly, which is a little bit weird. Because of all the asymmetric stuff, you can actually feel it going, I'm trying to nose in as it comes up on the brakes. So. Definitely a bit squirrely there. So yeah, I don't think the short oval configuration is necessarily the best thing to be running around here. So yeah, whether it's just because everything's still stone cold tyres wise or lack of rubber, or just the fact that it's flat, even though they're all left turns, there's no actual camber on the corners, whether that actually makes it more difficult, I don't know. So it might need a rethink on that one. So yeah, interesting. But that is officially an oval, so they raced on it back in the day, as they say. Was there anything else that had a potential? Oh yeah, Indianapolis. Interlagos. Can't even read my own brain there. Interlagos, of course, has this big old historic outer. I can't remember if that's actually, some of them are a little banked, some of the corners. I've no idea what setup it's going to put on this. Let's have a look, see what it's done. Yeah, it's just going with a straight road course, so interesting. So that's got a little bit of initial banking and then it flattens out, so I might run out of gearing. So that's got a nice bit of positive camber to it as you go in. I think the rest of it's fairly flat. Also, I can't remember where the bloody corner is there, so... Yeah, in real terms, yeah, that's more... Definitely more street course than it is oval in terms of what it requires, I think. So yeah, that feels about right. But yeah, the Jacarepagua or whatever, however you're supposed to pronounce it, which is definitely not how I've just done it, is going to be a bit of an oddity. I think you're going to have to sort of work towards more of a flat road course type setup for that. So yeah, it's interesting. Thinking what haven't we covered? We'll try the Ginetta, and we'll have a very quick look round the new revised, improved Spa. Now, the main differences between the 2020 and 2022 version, for those who are not aware, are mostly all to do with the fact that they're going to be racing Grand Prix motorcycles around here. And you're talking about something with a contact patch the size of your hand, with 300 plus horsepower, and they require a little bit different runoff to the average car, not surprisingly. So mostly what they've done is have I got a button set up to actually change the camera, and can I get outside the car? And if I do that, we can get rid of all the shite in front of us, so we can have a better look around. Yeah, most of it is all about safety for the bikes. Now, as much as gravel traps can sometimes be life-threatening, there's been a few occasions where people have had some very nasty accidents thanks to what happened in a gravel trap. Now, they've done a lot of work along there, and there used to be loads of stands along there. All of this lot on the left has been moved back, so they've actually extended the amount of grass and runoff on the run down to here, and basically that's just to give a bit more room for slight cock-ups. Loads more runoff on the left here, so the barrier on the left here was a lot closer. That's been moved back, so again, should there be a bit of a coming together with a couple of cars at the top here as well, so as you turn in, instead of the barrier being sort of right there where it was, it's now a bit further back. I still think it's maybe not quite far enough back. Then you got all of this over here to get away with fuck ups now, and over the top here, if you do lose it, you've got plenty of room to slide here. I'm assuming you're on a motorcycle at this point, so if you fucked up at the bottom there, tap somebody else, you should have plenty of room to slow down before you actually hit anything too solid. So that's been moved back a hell of a long way, so there's much less chance of you spinning your car going up a rouge and ending up in the barrier as well. So that's another positive for the car side. This they haven't really altered at all. As far as I'm aware, the barriers are in exactly the same place as they were before, so not a lot of change. I should probably driven up there a bit faster. Now I think they've added a bit more on the. I'd have to sort of think about it and run these side by side. So there's a lot more gravel traps sort of from here on in. Loads of gravel trap there. This they've left as is, as far as I can remember. So the basic premise of all the changes is where you used to have potentially a bit of grass and a bit of other shit the other side of it, astroturf, tarmac, it's no longer got all that. So if you're one of these people who likes to run right to the ragged edge of the limit of the curbs, I think you'll find even this curb is actually narrower maybe than it used to be, but certainly there's now a lot less to be able to get away with things, so you probably have to be slightly more accurate and not take quite as many chances, because if you get dragged off into that shit, AMS definitely likes to drag you into it and slow you down a lot, so you can lose a lot of time. This, I think there's a bit less tarmac than there used to be, because I can't remember, I don't think they used to have the bloody great gravel track round the back there. There might have been a bit of gravel track around this side, I can't remember. As you can see, there's a huge load more gravel. Now, this is actually where the bike's going to go. Take the left here. In terms of sort of, do I think that's a nice corner? No, because it's sort of dropping off and it's horrible all off camera, effectively, by the looks of it. But now you've got, I think, a load more gravel track on the outside here, and again, got a lot less before you get to it, so that should make life interesting. Should you try and avail yourself of the extra runoff still, because it ain't there. And if it ain't there, you shouldn't be trying to use it. Not that you should be trying to use it anyway, but again, put on double gauche or whatever the fuck they like to call it sometimes. You've got, I think, a lot more gravel on the outside than there used to be, but you still have got a reasonable amount of tarmac to play with before you get to the point of actually being in it, because I think that would be probably dodgy having the gravel too close there, because if you touch it you are going to get spun out by it and spat off into it. So yeah, they've left a reasonable amount of runoff. I think they might have moved the barriers back a bit there, I'm not 100% sure, so there might be more room before you actually get to something. Definitely through this, is it Lecombe? No, this isn't Lecombe, I forgot the name of the bloody corner. Whatever, this S-bend here, safety factor, fuck all. Nice big gravel trap to go exploring in. You don't want to be doing that in this game, because it makes it very hard to get out of. Again, loads of gravel trap. It will make things a little bit more interesting if you're side by side with somebody and they tap you into it, you'll be swearing at them. I think there was already a reasonable amount of gravel on the outside here, but there might be a little less green before you get to it. And then again here on the exit curb, lot less to play with here. So you used to be able to take the piss and literally get the car all the way sort of so the right wheel was on the curb here and you'd have all that green to play with. So it might slow you down a bit here, because obviously you can't turn in from like a car's width out. So whether it'll make a lot of difference, I don't know. Is that a new building, or am I just being thick? Don't answer that. Presume there's still a kart circuit down there. I can't see it. But again, they've opened things up a bit on this side, I think. So there's a little bit more, maybe a bit more runoff there. Again, more gravel track around the outside. I don't know why the gravel track was quite so far over there though. It seems a bit strange having it all the way over there. But, this is going to be a scarily fast corner on a motorcycle. That's the one I probably would go, not sure I want to fall off there. Mind you, I never exactly enjoy falling off at any time, but on the road or on a track. Again here, nice gravel track up the end there to slow you down should you get that far. And if I press the right button and get back in the car, we might, yeah. No, didn't want to get that. Or that. Let's try that again. That one. I haven't driven this more than about 5 minutes, so don't know what it's going to be like. I haven't adjusted it. It feels quite nice. Stone cold tyres. Yeah, I thought it might say that. Slightly cold front tyres weren't a particularly useful thing to go up there with. And again, greenish track, so might have been a bit oh, forgot about the little mushrooms on the inside of that corner. Yeah, everything's a little bit cold and a little bit green, I think. Back in, trying to get a little bit loose on the brakes there. That curve's a little bit vicious. I think it's slightly dished so you get stuck. Overall that feels not too bad because it's just basically the first semi-technical lap I've tried in it, and on a very green track. So I think overall, like I said, I haven't done too much testing due to various circumstances, so I think I need to spend a bit more time testing various things and have a look at things like AI, how they're doing, full course yellow, etc. And I will make some more videos maybe later in the week when I've got an hour or two to spare. So huge amounts to cover. Everything's really starting to feel good. Everything I tried sort of up to this point in 1.3 is sort of going in the right direction, but 1.4 I think is another step. Definitely all the things I've tried that they've said they've made improvements in, I've gone, yep, definitely going in the right direction. So hopefully everything's going hunky-dory, and I've got no idea how long this video is going to be, but I might have to chop it into two, maybe. just for the sake of people's sanity, also my upload. So that's 1.4 covered it in very short, quick terms about what's there. Everything that's in there is sort of nice update to have, like the ovals to play with and things like that, and the fact they've now got track specific setups which work depending upon things like what sort of track you're on, will be very nice. So you can have sort of a base oval setup that you could work across various ovals. Again, there's always going to be exceptions, but it'll be interesting to try out things like getting the full course yellow to work and see what happens with that, and a few other bits and pieces. Everybody who's tried it in the beta has said, yeah, it's all working now, so hopefully it is. But for me, for now, you can all go back to sleep now. Because well, you can probably wake up actually, because I've probably just bored you to death. So for me, for now, goodbye. Enjoy your racing, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Where's my button?